The house was never supposed to echo. But now, every footstep, every sigh, every whisper of the wind outside found its way through the silence of the empty rooms. The curtains fluttered like memories brushing past, and the old fan creaked as though it, too, remembered better days. Michael Harper lay on the floor of the living room, a thin blanket tucked under him, his head resting on a worn-out pillow. The couch stood nearby, unused, not because he didn't have the right to it, but because the floor had become familiar. His back hurt most mornings, and the winter bit cruelly through the cracks in the wooden floorboards, but he didn't complain. He had learned long ago that love wasn't about comfort. It was about sacrifice. Years ago, this very room had been alive with laughter. Little feet thumped up and down the hallway, toys scattered in corners, and Sunday cartoons echoing from the old TV. He remembered cooking pancakes in the kitchen while his children danced around him in their pajamas. His daughter, Emily, with her wild curls and missing front tooth, had once declared this house the best castle in the world. Now the castle was silent. And the king slept on the floor. Michael had never been a rich man, but he was rich in love. He worked double shifts at the hardware store for over 2 decades, never once missing a day. When his wife, Karen, passed away from cancer when their youngest son was just 5, Michael's world had tilted. Grief threatened to swallow him whole, but he didn't let it. Because there were still bedtime stories to tell, school lunches to pack, and scraped knees to kiss. He became both father and mother. He did ponytails and made birthday cakes from scratch. He worked extra hours to buy his daughter her first violin, and his son a used bicycle. Every brick of their small home was a promise he made, to protect, to love, and to raise them right. He never remarried. No one could ever be their mother, he used to say. When the kids grew older, Michael began saving every extra penny to send them to college. He sold his truck, canceled cable, even skipped meals just to stretch his income. He wore the same winter coat for 8 years, stitched and restitched, while making sure his kids had warm jackets and books for school. He quietly withdrew his own dreams, planting his children's ambitions in their place. Emily graduated top of her class. Mark became an engineer. Michael cried the day they moved out, but smiled through his tears. They need to fly, he told himself, even if I must walk alone. Years passed. Visits became phone calls. Phone calls became texts. Texts became silence. At first, he excused it. They're busy. They're building lives. But holidays passed without visits. Birthdays came and went. The last Christmas, Michael decorated the house alone and made Emily's favorite cookies. No one came. He tried calling. Emily didn't answer. Mark replied once, "Busy, Dad. Maybe next month." That month never came. Neighbors noticed the change. The once cheerful man was now quieter. He still greeted everyone with a smile, still helped fix leaking faucets, still volunteered at the food bank, but there was something dimmer in his eyes. A weariness, not of the body, but of the heart. One night, Michael found a stray dog shivering near his porch. He named her Penny. She was old, like him. They kept each other warm on the floor. One winter evening, a young woman named Rachel moved into the house across the street. She was a single mother, struggling with 2 part-time jobs and a toddler who cried through the night. One day, her car wouldn't start. Michael, though limping from arthritis, walked over with his tool kit. "I'm no mechanic," he chuckled, "but I've wrestled with a few engines in my time." Rachel was surprised at the warmth in his voice. Her own father had left when she was 12. She wasn't used to kindness from older men. Michael fixed her car, refused payment, and handed her a thermos of soup. That small act turned into a routine. He'd babysit when she had to work late. He taught her son, Noah, how to ride a bike. When Rachel lost her job, Michael quietly left a box of groceries on her porch. "Why do you help me so much?" she once asked. He smiled. "Because someone once did that for me. And because kindness, like seeds, needs to be planted." Meanwhile, in a city hours away, Emily scrolled past a video on social media. It was a post from someone in her old neighborhood, a video of her father fixing a neighbor's broken fence in the rain, his frail hands trembling, his coat soaked. "He's a legend in our town," the caption read. "Even after his own kids left him, he still shows up for others. Real love doesn't retire." Emily froze. She hadn't seen her father in 3 years. She always told herself work was too busy, life too chaotic. But now, seeing him like this, older, thinner, yet still giving, something broke inside her. She called her brother. "We need to go home." Michael didn't hear the knock at first. Penny barked, stirring him. He shuffled to the door, expecting the postman or maybe Rachel. But there they stood, Emily and Mark. Older now, professionals in tailored coats, holding suitcases and guilt in their eyes. "Dad," Emily's voice cracked. "I'm sorry." Michael blinked. He didn't trust his senses. "We want to stay. If you'll have us," Mark added, his voice shaking. Michael's lip trembled. "Of course I'll have you. You're my children." No anger. No scolding. Just arms that opened wide and eyes that finally cried. They moved back in temporarily, so they said. But weeks became months. Emily worked remotely from her father's kitchen table. Mark helped repair the old fence and replaced the cracked windows. One day, they surprised him with a recliner chair and a new mattress. "No more sleeping on the floor, Dad," Emily whispered, tears running down her cheeks. But Michael shook his head. "I wasn't sleeping on the floor because I had to," he said. "I was sleeping there because that's where your mom and I used to sit together." That spot held memories. That night, the three of them, father, daughter, and son, sat on the floor together. They looked through old photo albums. Laughed. Cried. Penny lay at their feet, her tail wagging slowly. Rachel and little Noah came over often. Noah called Michael, Grandpa Mike. The house was full again. Laughter returned. The echo of footsteps now brought joy. But Michael still sometimes woke early, before the sun, and sat by the window, wrapped in a blanket, watching the trees sway. He had built a home with his hands, but it was his heart that made it sacred. And though the years had tested him, he never stopped believing that love, no matter how long it takes, finds its way back. Dear viewer, Michael's story reminds us that true love doesn't count the cost, and kindness leaves ripples far beyond what we can see. If you have someone in your life who's waiting for your call, don't wait. Don't let years slip by in silence. Homes are made with love, but they survive on presence. If this story touched your heart, please give it a like and share it with someone who needs a reminder of family and kindness. Subscribe to Pure Kindness Stories for more real, emotional, and inspiring tales that restore faith in humanity.